Hi everyone, this is Shelly from Valentino Beauty Pure. Today I'm going to show you a baby boomer nail. This is a classic modern version of a pink and white. So let's go ahead and show you guys. We're going to remove the cuticle with our Valentino cuticle bit. Start prepping this nail. So as you guys can see, I'm removing her cuticle. It's nice and soft, even though sometimes you might not see it, it's still there. It's very important that you guys clean it well. It will help on the adhesion of the product that you guys will be putting on top. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the sander. Make sure you guys remove all the shine. No need to do pressure. This is very light. So basically, we've removed all the shine. Let's dust this off. Let's trim this up a little bit for our form placement.
Should the nail always be round when you do forms?
It's out of preference.
It's just easier that way.
At least for me, yes.
Okay.
But I do like to have a little bit of the free edge to place the form. My preference, I feel it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
So let's twist it here a little bit, give it a little bit of the shape of the nail. Put your finger a little stiff for me. And let's pop this in. Okay, I like to place my forms as straight as possible. So I'm gonna prep it with the dehydrator and the Super Bond. Dehydrator first, and then the Super Bond. So I'm gonna go ahead with a small bead of the crystal clear. I'm gonna place it on the free edge. Why I like to put this little clear bead on the free edge? Because it's gonna look clean. So now we're gonna go ahead and go with the Super White from Valentino. Let's put our first bead right a little bit above the free edge. Make sure you blend it in. That's very important for you guys to blend that in. It's very important for you guys to blend that little piece in, just because if you leave a marking line and the cover is not covered enough, you guys will see that line when you place that other bead of cover. So it's very important for you guys to fade that in. Let's keep on building. We also need to make sure that it's not that thick. So my model Corinne just asked that she's struggling how to make the fade in the baby boomer. She just said that she builds too much of the pink and doesn't have the baby boomer effect, the fade in with the pink and the white. So one of the things you guys need to keep in mind, you need to make sure that it's thin and then you're gonna build it with clear on top so you won't have that type of problems.
So when you add clear on top, is that gonna help when you shape so that you don't lose the gradient effect?
Yes,
okay, 'cause
definitely.
That's definitely a problem
Definitely.
that I have.
You have to cap it because if not, when you start filing, you'll lose it.
Right. All that work.
All that work is going to be lost. It's easier. Not saying that you can't, but it's going to be more work.
Right. Okay.
And also, you need to keep in mind, if you see my first layer of the white, if you actually can see it, it's not bumpy. It kind of flows.
Right.
So if you have bumps or gaps, when you put the pink is gonna go right over those gaps, and when you file, you're gonna expose. So those holes get filled and have more pink in that, and it reduces that gradient effect.
Okay. So you don't go all the way down to the cuticle with the white?
No, there's no need to. So now I'm gonna use Butterlicious from Valentino.
So this is when I struggle.
And now you see, Corinne, basically it fades in by itself. There's not much that you have to do. It's fading in just by itself.
So this foundation is with the white. You have to make sure you have that application.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay.
Just make sure that first application with the white is properly done, and that's it.
Everything else should flow from
Yeah.
there.
So if you guys have any overlapping acrylic on the cuticle area, just make sure you guys clean it. If not, you guys are gonna have some lifting. Me personally, I don't like to make my boomers or my ombres with a little bit of color here. I don't know if you've seen it, or like they have a lot of nude here, and just
They
because
bring the gradient high.
yeah, it just looks like it's been there for a while. It doesn't look that it's done fresh.
Right.
It just looks that it's been grown out. So I like to keep it like that. It's gonna last longer on you because you could have a couple of fills and still it's gonna look baby boomer.
Oh, okay. So that's a good technique.
So now we're gonna cap it with Valentino Crystal Clear. So now here's when we're gonna give this nail the body and the structure to support this length. Applying my first bead in the stress point. Another thing that we need to keep in mind, our nails don't need to have thickness here in this part. Just enough thickness that it doesn't break, but it does not have to be thick at the tip. It needs to be thick enough in the stress point, which is in the middle. So now you see I capped basically where you see the fade in starting. So now when I file, I won't have a problem with it coming off.
So you're putting most of the clear towards the center. I've noticed.
Yes.
Okay.
Because basically that's where the fade in is.
Okay.
And if you see I built enough here with the pink.
Or you don't need any.
The Butterlicious. Yeah. You don't want to waste product either. So I like to keep my beads small. So there it is. It's done. We just need to wait a couple of minutes till it dries out, and we're gonna file it. Okay, so the nail is ready. How do we know it's ready? We tap it. If it makes this sound, we already know it's ready to take off. Start filing it, shaping it, and ready to go. If you guys notice, I did most of my shaping already with the form placed, so I don't have to do much filing. So I'm using a medium carbide bit to finish shaping it. There's not much I do with the hand file. I like to finish a little faster, but you guys have to practice with these bits because if not, you guys are gonna cut your clients. So practice makes perfect. Please keep on practicing, guys.
Now, if I've filed sometimes too much, where the ballerina form is now crooked, how would you fix that? Would you just build over it again?
Well, it depends how much you file. If it's too much that you took a chunk off, you would have to build on that area again.
Not just start over. Don't soak it off.
No, you don't have to start
Okay.
over. No. Has it happened to you?
Yes, I've taken out chunks because, you know, when you're learning.
And also, it really depends on the position that you use the hand file. A lot of people have that problem. It's not uncommon at all. It's very, very common. So now I'm gonna place cuticle oil around the cuticle. This is just a thing that I do. It's not common. A lot of people do ask a lot of questions about this. Does it lift? No, it doesn't lift. The nail's already sealed.
So is this beneficial for the cuticles?
Well, actually, this is a little trick that I learned along the way, along the years. I like to use it. I like to use the cuticle oil with the bit. It reduces all the friction, so you don't generate any type of heat. And also, if you see the way my cuticle area finishes, you can't see where the acrylic starts from off of the nail, the natural nail, if it makes sense. And it will remove any type of cuticle that you will have left. So as you can see it right there, you can't see where it starts.
Right, okay. So that reduces the heat as well, you said?
Yes, the friction that the bit creates while filing, since I'm close to the cuticle, even though the finish that the bit has, it won't cut.
Right.
It's just a little trick I learned years ago, and I've kept it.
It works.
It really works.
You don't have to cut my cuticles now.
Nope. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the shaping. So another trick that you can do is you wanna make sure that that C curve and the side walls are the same. So you grab your hand file and you place it underneath the nail. And when you look at it through your view,
Right.
you can see
It's flat.
it has to be even on both sides.
If it's not,
You know, you have to fill in
oh, I see.
with more acrylic there. Or just try to level the other side. Always keeping your file completely straight, because any type of movement,
It's gonna create like a curve.
yes. So just make sure that you just straight lines when you're filing. And it's complete. We're gonna go ahead and buff it. Make sure you guys buff the edges. You don't wanna cut the client. So just buff those edges off. Then again, I'm always touching. Just making sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, this nail is done. We're gonna top coat it with our non-wipe top coat.
And you fix the crooked growth.
Yes.
It doesn't look crooked anymore.
Yes. That happens to me all the time. This is my working hand. So yes, I have a couple of crooked ones too. We're gonna clean it with alcohol to make sure there's no dust. Nice and clean surface. If your surface is not clean and you still have oils, when you put the top coat on, it will separate. It will create gaps. So just make sure that the surface is nice and clean. Let's go ahead with the Valentino non-wipe top coat. And there you go. There's the baby boomer. Hope you guys liked it.
What you just watched is us bringing it back to basics. We wanted to teach you foundation. So what I've noticed over the last 5 years of me being in this business is everyone is always asking the same questions. How do I apply stones? How do I prevent lifting? How do I do an ombre? How do I do a baby boomer? So what we did is we wanted to bring that to you. With this YouTube channel that we have, I have my director of education. We're gonna show you everything from A to Z. But what I need you guys to pay attention to is A to B before we get to Z. We're gonna basically rewrite the rules and I'm gonna give you everything for free. This is for you guys. We already know this stuff. That's why I opened an academy and that's why I'm opening a YouTube channel. This is David Anthony, president of Valentino Beauty Pure. We wanted to bring you back to basics.